And so God is concerned about how we live on the planet. And we know it's his will that we prosper, be in health, even as our soul prosper. That's the Father's will. It's his will that we have live a long, satisfied life. It is his will that we walk in divine health. So those are the things that we can just talk off the top of our minds about the will of God. God never thinks to do us harm. He always thinks about doing us good, that we have a divine end, an outcome in our life. Always, it's the Father's heart, never to harm you. That's not his heart. Okay, but we can do things and make decisions and choices that put us in harm's way, because there's a law that calls sowing and reaping. Okay, there's a law that calls death and life. And so we have to begin to understand how it all operates. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance is one of the greatest weapons of Satan, is to keep you from knowledge, keep you from understanding, and keep you from the wisdom of God. That's the spirit of darkness. The spirit of light is the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So God wants you to inquire that. Okay? So what we're going to do tonight is called positioning ourselves financially. Positioning ourselves financially. And why is this important for the believer? Why is it important for anybody, but especially for believers, that we're positioned financially? Because we know that money plays an important role in life in the earth realm. And that we cannot do the Father's bid or the Father's business without being financially positioned in this earth realm. And so therefore, we must develop ourselves to understand that money is a part of the kingdom. Money is not a world or worldly thing. It's a kingdom thing. It's a kingdom thing. So I must educate myself. You must educate yourself on being positioned financially. Putting yourself in a financial position where I'm positioned no matter what financially to handle anything that concerning earth. Solomon's statement was that money answereth all things. Money answereth all things. That statement was based on natural things, dealing with natural things. Even though you have a spiritual goal, a spiritual purpose, a spiritual assignment from God, he says in this earth realm, you're going to need to have money to achieve the things God told you about. You have to have money to achieve that. Okay, money is a part of that. So money, again, we must get the concept of money out of our head, that money is evil and money is worldly. No, money is not evil, and money is not all-consuming, worldly, or ungodly. Money is good, and money is tied to the kingdom agenda. Money is tied to the kingdom agenda. Okay? As a church, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, Christian, you're going to need finances to live here on planet Earth. Now, once you get the glory, it's a whole different story. You don't need no money. You ain't going to need no money. Okay? But on planet Earth, you're going to need it. Okay? So we've got to focus in on that and not spiritualizing everything. You know, as Christians, sometimes we spiritualize everything. You know, but we sometimes got to get out of that. On certain things, it's just business, just life. Just business, just life, and life happens. I don't care how spiritual you are, how holy you are, you're going to die. Life happens. So don't spiritualize it. Everybody died. That's on the planet since Adam. Okay? So tonight, again, we talk about position yourself financially. I want to focus on a chapter in Scripture out of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12 through verse 14. Now, we're studying by subject. We talk about the Father's business. We talk about the Father's house and how you, as a Christian, are part of the Father's house. You are part of the Father's agenda. You're part of his business. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12, in the King James Version, we can get it up there. I have it here in the NIV. In NIV it says, wisdom is a shelter. Okay, now you got it. Okay, got a King James Version. Okay. All right. It says, for wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellence of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So, when you are a possessor of the wisdom, which is a defense, and the money that is a defense, he said the excellence of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. He said, if you got wisdom, you can manage your finances. You must manage your finances by wisdom, so your finances or your money can become a defense for you. Money is designed to be a defense. So if I'm wasting my money and mismanaging my money, I'm really putting myself in an offensive position to be attacked by lack, poverty, not having enough, living unfulfilled, not preparing for the future. Why? Because I mismanaged my finances. So now, I was a man operating, having money but no wisdom. Having money but no wisdom. So we asked ourselves, how do my money keep getting away from me? And the answer is, I lack wisdom. I got one, but I don't have the other. See, you can be wise and don't have money. You got some folks, you got all the brains in the world, but broke. And nothing you can talk to them about, they don't know. But they ain't got no money. They got wisdom, though, or just knowledge. But the idea in the scriptures is, he's saying, if you got wisdom, which is a defense, you should have money also. Money don't beget wisdom, but wisdom can beget money. He says, so therefore, if we're broke and we don't have money, we're not being able to meet our obligation, he said, the idea is you lack wisdom. Anybody that's working, that got a job, is making money. But the idea is, if their money is not fulfilling their life and meeting their obligations and taking care of them, it's because they lack wisdom. They lack the wisdom. And that's what we got to understand, that money, wisdom, and knowledge is what builds a house. It what fills a house, and it what protects the house against a day of adversity, against a day of lack, famine, not enough. And in many people's lives, famine is all around. But it's not in their life. It's just around them. It's happened to other people, but it's not happening to them. Why? It's because they have occupied the house of wisdom. They have occupied the house of wisdom, which teaches them how to manage their affairs with knowledge and understanding. with knowledge and understanding. Now, we're going to talk about this for a moment, and then we're going to move to, look at verse 13 and 14, because Solomon goes on to say something. These are scriptures we don't read after this. We normally stop at verse 12. He said, consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he had made crooked? Verse 14, in other words, says, God has appointed certain things that's going to happen on the planet that you can't change. It's going to happen. Okay, now he tells you about something. He said, in a day of prosperity, be what? Be joyful. But in the day of what? Adversities, consider. He said, consider. See, when you're reading the scripture, you just can't read. You got to think about what you're, and apprehend or comprehend what you're reading. He said, there's a day of prosperity that you're going to be joyful. Now imagine I'm full of joy, I'm excited, my money is in position, my family is doing good, everybody's doing good. But he says also, there's a day called adversity. Doesn't matter how much money you got. Doesn't matter how many connections you have. Doesn't matter how much money you got saved, or how many investments you got, how well your business is going. He said a day of adversity is going to come. Now, how it affects you is going to be determined by how you dealt with your prosperity. Now, there's certain things money ain't going to stop. That's dying. Your kid's going to die. You're going to die. Hopefully, our kids die before us. That's what most people hope. You know, because they don't want to be here and go through that kind of stage of their kids going before. That's kind of most people think as parents. But the idea is, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The day adversity is going to come. And there's some things money is not going to stop. Okay? So money doesn't answer all things. It only answers things concerning earth things or financial things. But according to the promise and the thing that God has already put in the earth realm, it can't stop it. It can't stop a hurricane. It can't stop that. You know. So there's certain things going to happen. It's called the day of adversity. Okay? But if you have your affairs put in position, if the hurricane take your house out, you got your insurance, you got your money, you can rebuild. You can rebuild. You know, even if you got to leave your state, go get a house in a temporary place, another state to live in until yours get built, you got money, you can do that. Why? Because money became a defense against the day of adversity. Okay? He said, God also has set the one over against the other. Other words, he said, the day of prosperity and the day of adversity are both designed by God. They are both designed by God. And he says, to the end that man should find nothing after him. In other words, he says, one of the translations says at this point, he said, a translation is, you don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. You don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. You don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. But you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. So that means that certain things that are happening even to Christians that God is not going to stop. But you are responsible for managing your affairs in the earth because the day of adversity is going to show up. But God said if you use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you'd have built your house on a rock and not on sand. So when the day of the storm comes, you would have been prepared to go through it the day of adversity. You've been able to be sustained through the days of adversity. So those scriptures here is clear to us that management is vital to the believer's life, because even when the believer mismanaged, the day of adversity will overtake him. The day of adversity will overtake him. And now he asks, where is God? Why God didn't show up? No, God didn't show up on a day of prosperity. should have been a day of prosperity. But because you didn't get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because some of us are so spiritual, amen, we don't deal with this side of life. We just think that prayer going to fix everything. Coming to church going to fix everything. It isn't. You're going to have to learn how to manage your affairs here on planet Earth. In other words, put your ducks in a row. Put your ducks in a row. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know? So those things you got to learn to do yourself. God is not going to do that for you. He's not going to do that for you. So those things are very important. And then Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 says, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heavens. Now we're tying that back into Ecclesiastes 7. The day of prosperity and the day of adversity. You're going to experience both of them. You're not exempt from experiencing both of them. But it's dependent on how you manage your affairs will determine your famine days. When the days of lack show up and the days that your job may get off, or you got business, or your job may lay you off, or you got a business and business might slow down, or whatever you're going through, he says if you have prepared during your prosperity, that things getting slow or lack won't stop you from moving forward because you prepared for it. It only stopped those who are not prepared. Only business that closed down during lack season is the ones who did not prepare. Did not prepare. And that's why they had to shut their businesses down. They didn't prepare for the long term. They didn't prepare for it. And that's why they had to wind up shutting down. Now that's some words here, how you position yourselves financially. The first word here is management. Management. You are the personal manager of your affairs. Chris, are you writing it down on your tab? Okay, you write that on the board for me. Oh, she got it. Okay, go ahead, Tab. Okay, management. You are the personal manager of your affairs in your life, not God. God set the standard and he sets the rules that you and I must abide by in order to live life and live it more abundantly. Ephesians 3:20, one of the favorite scriptures we love quoting. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, by the power that worketh in us. God says you're your personal manager. You got to understand the power that worketh inside of you, and one of those powers is a spirit of wisdom, the spirit of knowledge, and the spirit of understanding. And if you do not acquire it and seek after it and educate yourself in these things, he says, then you're going to live in limitation instead of living in the exceeding abundance. But being spiritual, we just put it to prayer, praise and worship, going to church every Sunday, making sure we're faithful to church and everything else. And we don't think that the power that works inside of us is bigger and more than Sunday. Sunday is vital because that's a true treasure. But living on planet Earth, you need knowledge, wisdom, and understanding how to live here. How to live here. So management is going to be important. You got to manage yourself. Number 2 is consistency. Now, we'll talk back and talk more about these, each one I give you, but let me give them to you. Consistency. Anything that you do consistent, it becomes a part of you. Anything that you do consistent, it becomes part of our immune mental consciousness. We do it without thinking. It's automatic. Anything that you do consistent, you do it automatic. Consistency produces an automatic program on the inside of you because you do it all the time. Eating. Consistent. You do it every day. Unless you're fasting. But you eat every day. If you're not sick, because sometimes you get sick and you don't feel like eating. But the idea, most of the time, pretty much every day of your life, you're going to eat. Because why? You do it consistently. It's automatic. You ain't got to think about it. Until you get hungry and say, did I eat today? But the idea is it's consistent. Okay? So whatever you do consistent becomes automatic. So I got to develop a program of consistency with finances. This is something I do all the time. Once I do it all the time, I don't have a resistance against it. Anything I do consistent, I don't have a resistance against it because I'm on an automatic pilot. This is what I do all the time. The only thing that I resist is the things I don't do constant. I resist it. Certain information, eating certain type of foods, or exercising every day. You know, anything I don't do consistent, my mind tells you, I don't feel like doing that. It gives you 100 reasons why you shouldn't do it. Why? Because not something I do consistent. It's like, do I save consistent? Do I pay myself every pay period consistent? Do I think about that seafood plate I'm getting ready to go buy? Is it worth me spending my $13? That's something you don't think about consistent. Why? Because you're on automatic pilot. This is what I do all the time. Anything I do all the time, I don't have a resistance against it. If I shop all the time, I don't have a resistance against shopping. This is what I do all the time. Every time I get paid, I go shop. I go buy something every time I get paid. Once you become consistent to the program that you don't develop a habit or behavior, you don't develop, there's no resistance against it. You don't think spending money on it is a violation. Why? Because I do it all the time. It's just like you and I develop being on Facebook all the time, or being on our phones all the time. We can't go 20 minutes. We take it in the tub, we sit on the toilet with it, we watch television with it. We're watching both of them. Why? We've been programmed. We've been programmed to do it. So therefore, I don't have a resistance against it. Why? Because I'm programmed to do it now. It became a part of me. It's something I've done consistent enough until it became a part of my program. Where were you when Facebook wasn't here? Where were you when we didn't have a cell phone? You see, so we develop habits over time that we became consistent with, and now those consistency is a part of our program. We do it every day without resistance. Without resistance. Same thing here. You got to develop consistency. So it's reprogramming yourself, developing new habits, a new way of thinking, a new behavior. The only way you're going to get out of this place of wasteful spending, wasteful management, It's the idea you got to reprogram yourself. You got to reprogram yourself. New habits, new consistencies will give you a different program. Tell yourself, I'm not picking that phone up for today. You got to start talking to yourself. No, I'm not picking it up. I don't need to pick it up. The same old stuff every day I go on, the same old stuff. So why am I picking it up? It's going to take 30 minutes out of my life. But you got to stop you by rewiring yourself consistently, by talking to yourself and telling yourself mentally, I don't need to pick this up. Because my body is automatic pilot. My mind is automatic pilot to do it every day. To do it every day. Okay? Same thing with finance. You got to change your way you think, change your behavior, change your program. Consistency. Number three, I wrote up on here, is called focus. You got to focus. Putting yourself mentally focused on your goal or your vision and what it costs to achieve it. That focus means constantly meditating, constantly acquiring knowledge about what is it that you are learning or what you desire to achieve. I got to stay focused, not being distracted about the things that got me in poverty, the things that's keeping me in poverty, keeping me struggling financially, keeping me broke and keeping me without having enough money. I got to change my focus not to be distracted by these worldly advertisements and things that put me in that position. The Bible says there are three enemies of ourselves. It's called the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. He said those are the three enemies that's coming out of the inside of you that you got to deal with, that you got to put to death. That you got to put to death. So I got to stay focused. How many of you since, well, let's say, let me use the word since graduation from high school. Since you graduated from high school, have there always been sales? So what makes you think ain't going to be another one? They had a sale last week, 70% off, or whatever it was. What makes you think it ain't going to be another one? But for some reason, we're so wide programmed, they got to say, I got to go, as if it ain't going to be another one. What made this an emergency? They make shoes and clothes and cars and everything every day. So what makes you think it's not going to be another sale? But we're wired to think it's the end of the world if I don't get it. And so we become unfocused because of our appetites, the lust of the eye, the pride of life, and the lust of the flesh. Golden Corral, been here a few years now. What make you think if you miss this Friday, they're going to be here next Friday? Or any other place you go to. But see, we've been programmed because we've done it so consistent, it became a part of our program. It became a part of our program. But that's the same thing that can become an enemy to you if it's not managed well. If it's not healthy systems on the inside of you, you become unfocused. Unfocused. Sister Carrie, you had a birthday today. Happy birthday. Yeah. Adonis' birthday today as well. Okay, we got a few people here. Coleman had his yesterday. You got yours tomorrow? Got birthday tomorrow, Sister Jeanette? Okay. We got a couple of you guys. Okay, so we got to stay focused. We got to stay focused. And I didn't do that to get unfocused. Okay, so we got to stay consistent. We got to be focused. Number 3. Number 4, we got to be faithful, or faithfulness. You got to be faithful to doing this. It's almost like the word consistent. You got to be faithful to your vision. You got to be faithful to yourself. Don't let yourself lie to yourself. You got to be faithful. You got to cast down vain imagination and every thought that exhorts against the knowledge of Christ or the vision or goal you got going. You got to cast those thoughts down. You got to cast them down. Like picking the phone up. I'm not going to do it. It's a craving on the inside of you. It's fleshly. You develop a craving for it. You know, it's like you're really addicted and don't know you are. But that's what you become. Your program because you become addicted to things. And you got to become detoxed from bad habits. And the way they detox you is they put you away from the environment. You know, so you got to change your environment of thought. Your environment or programs or whatever you're doing. You got to get away from it. Detox yourself from it. To reprogram yourself. Okay? And that also takes us to number 5, which is called self-discipline. Self-discipline. Stop looking for other people to fix your situation or to fix you. Or to fix you. You're going to have to become, again, the manager of your life, the manager of your affairs. You're going to have to take on the responsibility of changing and fixing what broke about yourself and about your situation. You're going to take on that responsibility. Self-discipline. Don't let your friends, don't let your family people, or don't let, again, the worldly advertisement to break your self-discipline life. Don't let that happen to you. Because these are the distractions. These are the things that pull on you. They pull on us every day. Everybody is bidding for our dollar. Every dollar you got, somebody's bidding to get it from you. So you got to determine who are you going to get that dollar to? Who is worth my dollar? Is this worth my dollar? It's like getting ready to walk out, get ready to go to the cashier, and you're standing in line, and all of a sudden you see a bag of chips. I mean, you got 5 minutes because somebody at the cash register, and you just looking around and looking at every little item on the shelf. And you're creating cravings. That would be nice to eat that today or tonight before I go to bed or whatever. So you create a craving with a lust of the eye. Why? Because it's also the mindset of the store. They put it there to make that happen. To get that extra dollar out of your pocket. Some have gone to say that certain music stores that plays on your mental aspect to either make you hungry or to make you spend. It puts you on a certain mood. Okay? So we got to watch all these distractions that plays on our psyche. Number 5, to put yourself in a position yourself for financially. I'm on number 6. I got number 5. Okay, number 6. Okay, budgeting. Now, when you got money, I mean, you really got money. I'm talking about enough money that you ain't thinking about a budget. Well, that's a whole different ball game. It's a whole big, but even rich people, really not. They don't spurge like you think they do. They use the same wisdom that got them out the hole, is the same wisdom that keep them on top, but not coming back to this hole. You know, so a lot of them, they think about what they're doing before they do it. They negotiate, you know, and so even rich people can become broke if they don't manage their affairs. If they don't manage their affairs, and they go jumping off buildings. Okay, so budgeting is money with a mission. Budgeting is money with a mission. It's giving my money purpose. It's giving my money meaning. When I start becoming knowledgeable of why these pair of shoes are worth $75 to me. Not that I'm trying to be tight. I'm just managing my affairs as a good steward to make sure I'm not wasting money just to be looking like other people or to be accepted by the popularity of what people think is what's good and what's bad, what's in style and what's out of style. So we find the stuff that's out of style, give it a couple of years, it'll be back in style. Never thought the afro would come back. But this generation wear afros. Okay, they changed it. You know why? It came right back around. It came around. Okay, so budgeting is money with a mission. Is making sure that I'm a good steward of the things that God has blessed me with. And is also securing myself or putting myself in a defense position against the day of adversity. It's putting myself in a position against the day of lack, not enough. What happened if the job run out? What happened if one of the incomes get cut off? What happened if the wife gets sick or a husband gets sick or one die, whatever? How do I continue to live once this stuff happens? You see? So I got to think about that when I'm spending every dime, every time I get paid. You know, whether it's on hair, on shoes, on clothes, makeup, traveling, or whatever it is. I know a lot of you travel. I mean, you got the money to do it, do it. But if you ain't got the money to do it and you keep getting behind every month, then you need to think about what you're doing and why you can achieve your goals and why you can achieve and put your family in a better position. So budgeting is a process that everybody has to do at some points in their life. Even the rich person who got it now didn't start off without budgeting. They watch their pennies as they come through the rankings to get where they was going. Number 7, you have to become purpose-driven over emotion-driven. You got to become purpose-driven over being emotional-driven. Again, by what people think and what people think is good. And just because a neighbor when they got a Lexus don't mean you got to go to your car. The neighbors paint their house, so I got to go paint my house now. Neighbors got lights all around their house. I'm going to put me some lights up. See, you're emotion-driven, not purpose-driven. Because you don't know what the neighbors got the money from to do what they're doing. But you know your budget. So you got to live within your means in managing your affairs so that you can be positioned, and not on the neighbor's income. So I need to be purpose-driven. Number 8, I put on here again, savings. What are your savings? The world calls this part of the thing sometimes called having emergency money. Emergency funds. In case car breakdown need to be fixed, or flat tires, or whatever. Hot water heater go out. Stuff happens. But you got to be financial position that when that stuff happens, that you can continue, go get you something new, a new one, and keep functioning. And not sit around and go depressed. Now you're going to use your tears to wash your clothes. No, you can't do that. You ain't got enough tears to wash no clothes. But the idea, you got to position yourself. So you won't be experiencing, you're able to manage to go through these things, because a day of adversity is going to come. And that's why poverty is so harmful, and poverty is such an enemy, because things keep happening every time you try to get up. As soon as you get a little extra $1,000, like something happens, they come and just vacuum it out of your pocket. Why? Because it's not enough. So I got to be consistent enough to get out the hole. I got to be consistent enough with my savings so I can get out the hole. I got to be consistent enough with my spending so I can get out the hole. And once I develop a consistency, then it's going to propel me to come up. Because now somehow I become disciplined to do, and now I have authority over my flesh, and my flesh is not having authority over me. I have authority over my thoughts, and my thoughts are not controlling me. I got authority over my emotions, and my emotions not controlling me any longer. Because that's what keeps me in the hole. Those are the things that's keeping me in the hole. So I cannot, in my personal life, be effective. So how can I be effective in the Father's house? How can I get the gospel into all the world if I can't get myself out to lunch? You see? So all of it ties in. I mean, a good Christian people who want to be a blessing to the church, who want to be a part of the agenda, getting things done in the church, but they can't, because they can't get their own life out. Because of these same factors. These same factors. Savings is important. It's boring, but it's important. Got to pass up on that hot sausage sandwich. That link in the bun with the mustard on it. Yeah, got to just pass it up. It's just temporary, though. It's temporary sacrifice for the long-term achievement. Temporary sacrifice for the long-term achievement. Because if I stick with it long enough, I'm going to be able to buy like I want to buy. I'm going to be able to go like I want to go. Why? Because I got more than enough. And this would a debt-free life bring you to. Number 9, I wrote this down, buying on impulse. Buying on impulse. Impulsive spending. Just walked through the store. Didn't have no intention. Just came here to get a can of snap beans. and wind up spending $50, $60, $100. $150, you say $150. Yeah, either go to the store hungry and you wind up buying the food. You done made all that grocery. You stop at Popeyes before you get home. They ain't cooking no chicken today. No, impulsive spending. Impulsive spending. And we spend on color. Even just a certain color, you just buy it because of the color. Don't really need it. It just, the color is so beautiful, it just look good on me. It just look good on me. Just impulsive spending. Don't even need it. So we got to control those desires because of impulsive spending. Absolutely. You know, you watch stuff, and they tell you, even you talk about Amazon, going through Amazon, looking at stuff, or either, what's this furniture place called on, Wayfair. You start looking at all that stuff. They said, and other folks looked at this, other folks bought this. Then you start looking at the ratings. Oh man, these people are buying this. Just impulsive spending. What's wrong with your couch? You don't match the wall color. You got to find some reason, something wrong with it, buy another one. Impulsive spending. Spending just because you got it. Got some extra this week. Number 10, we're dealing with bagging up impulsive, buying on impulse, is controlling your add-ons. Controlling your add-ons. And I'm speaking of this in the realm of taking on more debt. Taking on more debt than your income can handle. Or they're going to take on more debt, they're going to eat more of your income. They're going to eat more of your income. A lot of times we keep putting stuff in the bag that eats up our free money. The money left over after we pay all our bills. It's the miscellaneous things that we do, not the responsible things we do. The things I'm responsible for. Paying my house note, if I've got a house note, paying my utilities, paying my insurances. You know, those are things that we have to do. But my money gets spent on the things that I continue to add on to the pile of those responsibilities. And that will begin to cut more money out of my living. And now I'm in a place of spending 90% on bills and trying to live off of 10%. That's a hard place to be in. It's a hard place to be. So you don't need a day of adversity when you only got 10% freedom. Because you ain't got enough. You ain't got enough. You see what I'm saying? But that's what we keep doing with bad habits idea and compulsive spending. We keep taking on more stuff that keep cutting our free money. And most stuff we are buying is stuff we're going to put up. How often am I going to use this? So that's the type of thing I got to talk to myself when I'm in the stores as well. How often am I going to use this? Is it going to be just sitting in the yard, sitting in the closet, sitting back over there, and maybe 5 years from now, use it again? What good did it do me? You know, I could have went and rented that for a couple of hours that I needed it and took it back to the place. Why go over and get in debt for $700 or $1,000 for someone that's going to leave in my closet or someone not going to use it but 1 or 2 times? I bought it just then because I needed it. But I didn't need it long term. So why not call Henry down the street, man? Can I borrow something? Use it and take it back down the street. Because I don't need it. I just had a right now need of it to use it for a moment and put it back where it belongs. And we all do this. We all do this. You know, we got to change that. We got to change how, in order to keep ourselves in a position financially that we're ready for in the day of prosperity and we're ready for the day of adversity, according to Ecclesiastes 7. When I talk about add-ons, is A upon an add-on or controlling your add-ons. Watch how much financial obligation you're taking on so that your expenses are not exceeding your income. Your expenses are not exceeding your income. You must ask yourself before you purchase any kind of add-on, can I do both? Maintain what I got and pay for what I'm finna get. Can I do both? Without losing progress or coming up short or getting behind in other financial obligations. Can I do both? You must ask yourself, can I have 2 vehicles in a house note with all my utilities and all my food, all my miscellaneous, and yet still make it without struggle? Just because I want a new car don't mean I need one. So can I do both? Maintain where I am without losing momentum and add this other new thing to me and won't miss a beat. In my financial position to handle that? Not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. So the Bible said, don't put your trust in uncertain riches. Don't put your trust in your job. Because any day it can get cut. Any day you can get fired. He said, yeah. You know, you can't even put your trust in your Social Security check. You see what I'm saying? So because of the time we're living in with those in authority, you know what's going to happen the next day. But if you're not positioning yourself where they can't govern you no matter what they do, they can't control you or stop you no matter what they do, then that's the position you want to be in, where you can't be governed by them or controlled by them. And that's one of the things when you become financial position, they can't stop you. That's why people realize when they're rich and they got millions of dollars, you know, you're not talking to me. You're talking to them that don't have it. Because you can't stop me. Because if I want to, I can move to Paris and live in Paris and get clean out of your system. You see what I'm saying? Folks got money, got choices. Folks who don't have no money ain't got it limited. You got to ride this horse until he drops. Because you ain't got no choices. It takes choices from him. That's why poverty is so ugly. That's why lack is so ugly. That's why it's not God. It's so ugly where it puts you as a person and put your life in with limitations and lack when God said, I want you to have life and have it more abundant. The blessing of the Lord make it rich and add no sorrow. You see what I'm saying? The promises of Deuteronomy 28, the blessings of God that belongs in your life, it do not carry lack. It's all about blessings. These blessings shall run you down and overtake you. You see what I'm saying? But we got to put ourselves in that position and stop being so spiritual and think that prayer is going to fix all this. No, you have a responsibility to manage your affairs and manage your life. You know, one of the things my wife used to tell me when we was early in marriage, you know, when we spent money or whatever, you know, she'll tell me, the Lord going to provide. I said, the Lord did provide. We just spent it. You know, we'll get some more money. What about this term money? We got this money. You know, so you got to understand as you go forward in this, as we grow in this, in the Father's house, in the Father's business, this is why God needs you to be personally accountable. Because you can't be corporate supportive if you're not personally accountable. Personally accountable for your affairs. You can't participate with everybody else that's moving this away. You can get on the bus, but you ain't contributing. You know, when we pull up to the gas station, we need to pay for this gas, and you sitting back there eating chips. And don't think the folks up front ain't thinking about that. That's what it's called, freeloading. But the idea is you got to understand why God wants you personal as a steward of your affairs. And why some people are struggling, and you're asking why God ain't helping them. God is helping them. They're not helping themselves. They're not helping themselves. We're in the season where we're getting income taxes. A number of people I've been hearing from now are getting some good-sized checks. The idea is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to repeat last year? And before May 31, you broke again? What are you going to do with it? Or are you going to save it? Or are you going to put it in an investment, a CD or something where you can have constant income coming in, your money creating more money? Or are you going to pay debts off so you can get this behind you? So I want to face that now so the money I am making can come stay? Or are you going to go add on some new stuff? And put more stuff on your plate. And you're more off now. Once the money is spent, you're worse off now than when you had the money, because you didn't pay for the stuff. So you got to ask yourself, because this is what people are doing every day, and they're looking for the government to take care of them. They're looking for a system to take care of them, and not realizing it's your responsibility to put yourself in a winning position. Oh, they ain't been old. But the idea is you got to put yourself in a winning position. The church has to manage itself and put itself in a winning position. It's kingdom business. It's kingdom business. Because I have to ask myself all the time, man, if this thing turned upside down, what is the church going to do to take care of its people? Or is the church in position to have meet in God's house? You know, and how many who God is going to say, oh, no, we're going to open up our door for those special the household of faith, and we're going to make sure you're okay going through this. Is that going to happen? Or they're going to say, well, we got all these new building programs, and we got these new buildings got to pay for. Keep the lights on while your lights off. But see, these are the things we got to consider when it comes down to management in this world system and getting on top of it where it don't control us no longer. So I got to take care of my personal affairs in order to become a partaker of the corporate affairs. You can't give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. Okay? So keep those thoughts in your mind, and let's get busy in transforming our systems. Transforming our systems. Our thought system, our behavior system, what I'm watching, what I'm participating in. Start changing what needs to change. Take responsibility. Okay? Again, thank you for being here tonight. My time is up. Thank you for yours. We can get ready to give our tithes and offering for those who will give their tithes tonight, your offering. Amen. Remember, is this fourth Sunday coming? We're focusing in on giving toward the church payoff every fourth Sunday. 100 people give $40. Mr. Gosrain added that on. That was not on my card. He's a mathematician. So it's $80. Yeah. So if you need an envelope sanctuary service, I'm moving to make sure you get your envelope for your giving. I receive your seed. Glory to God. Praise the GRC. Anybody got any questions? I mean, I can do it after we do the offering. But if you got any questions or any statements you want to make about what we was talking about, those areas, if you limit yourself to one question, one statement, for time, purpose. Okay, she said those who are receiving those checks is something that President Biden had done while he was in office. So that's what's causing it to happen. Not everybody get it, but certain retired, those retired. Federal, yeah, government. Wow. For a year. Yeah. Okay. It was a windfall. Okay. Okay. And you still got 7 years, got a percentage. Yeah, that's right, because that's money you didn't have. That's an increase. Yeah, he was saying for those online, I don't know if we offline. We offline? Okay. But he's saying, Mr. Goshman is saying, make sure you're tied off your increase. It's an increase, tied off your increase. Yeah. It did what it with it. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah. It's always worth looking into.